So, I have just got done watching the 5th episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch, and I gotta say, this was a fantastic episode. It was really fun to watch, and I enjoyed it, so yeah, I'm going to be reviewing it. So yeah, join me, Lucamus Prime, and my best friend, Oppo Ranscisis, as we review the 5th episode of The Bad Batch titled Rampage. So yeah, cue the intro. So, as always, I'm going to let Ranscisis share his thoughts on the episode first. So, yeah, and if you enjoy it, guys, I'd recommend you guys to please consider subscribing to his channel to give him some support, and I'll have the link to his channel in the description below. So, yeah, please be sure to subscribe to him and go support him. So, anyway, take it away, Oppo.
Hello there. This is Oppo Ranscisis, here to provide my review for my fellow comrades, my fellow Star Wars fans, my fellow members of Lucamus Prime's YouTube channel, and thank you for inviting me on once again, Lucamus, of Season 1, Episode 5 of The Bad Batch that was released today. This was my personal favorite episode. As always, we're not really going in any particular order, because I'm not that type of guy. Obviously, Lucamus likes to go in order. I just go all messed up. So, first of all, I want to say that I predicted the plot twist with Bib Fortuna. As soon as that hologram appeared on screen, first of all, I recognized Matthew Wood's voice. So I was like, yeah, that's Matthew's Bib voice, because I know Matthew's Bib voice very well. And second of all, obviously, from what we could see of the design, I was like, yeah, that's definitely a Twi'lek, and put the pieces together, there's no way it's not Bib Fortuna. And it turned out to be Bib Fortuna, which I was very happy about. However, I was not fully happy that Matthew Wood was chosen as the actor, because I think it would be a much better idea if they had invited, for example, Michael Carter, who played Bib Fortuna. Obviously, Eric Bosfield, unfortunately, has already passed away, but his body actor is still very much alive and in good shape, and he has proven that he is capable of doing the voice. So it was unfortunate that they got Matthew Wood, which, by the way, now Matthew Wood is the most recurring actor for Bib, because he played him in The Phantom Menace. He played him on stage in the, in the audio drama when all of the Clone Wars cast were reading this drama or whatever. He played him there. Now he played him in The Mandalorian, and now he voices him here. So he has surpassed everyone else. I'd also have liked to see Alan Rusko return as the character. So that was unfortunate as well, because Alan Rusko his situation is very unfortunate. All of his scenes got cut out of The Phantom Menace, and we never even saw them. They're not on any disc or anything. We just have set photos as proof of their existence. So it's sad. But by the way, Sid, is that her name? I think that's her name. The Trandoshan was one of my favorite characters now. First of all, she was very kind of, a little more obese, a little more cute, a little more elderly. I liked her design. She was kind of very nice, and I was like, oh, she's very nice. And she was helpful, and she had her own goal as well. She had that funny personality. Reminds me a little bit of Watto, except not quite. Once again, this kind of very unique things going for her. Then I also really liked the plot twist with the Rancor. Oh, and also the Rancor looked super cute. Patissa in Return of the Jedi, that Rancor, he looked super ugly, terrifying, a monstrous beast. But this Rancor, I was like, oh! And it reminded me a lot of the Felucian Rancors that we see in Clone Wars Season 2, Episode 17, Bounty Hunters. Very cute Rancor, very little too. And obviously we have the Wrecker chip situation going on, which I was not fully certain that's the way they were going, but it seems it is the way they're going, and I don't really like that, to be honest. It was nice to see the Zygerians again, especially that villainous Zygerian with the monocle played by Liam O'Brien. First of all, fantastic voice, and I was wondering who it was. It sounded a bit like Freddie Prinze Jr. to me, but it wasn't. He was fantastic, and he looked fantastic, and even the way he walked, like this, it was all very memorable, and that's what I like about characters. What else do I have to say? There was a moment, a very short moment, I believe it was around when Omega was left on the ship and the Bad Batch was crawling towards, you know, the Zygerian camp or whatever. There was this piece of music by Kevin Kiner that reminded me a lot of the beginning of the Angry Birds theme, you know, da 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 da. There was that moment, so that was a funny similarity I noticed there. Nice to see the Gamorrean guards with their Clone Wars design. And by the way, Bib looked nice, but he looked a bit too squarish for me. I hoped that his face would be a little more round, like it was in the movies. He looks a bit more like, you know, like he's made out of blocks. Is that it? Is that all? Oh, nice seeing Ord Mantell, because obviously we saw also Ord Mantell in the Jango Fett Age of Republic comic. So that was very nice to see it here as well, and obviously we saw a different part of it additionally. And it was, the humor in this one worked quite well, and especially the way that we got introduced to Sid, where the Bad Batch didn't know it was her, but then they found out that it was indeed her. And that was very funny the way they put that together. So is that it? Yeah. I don't think I have much to say. I just think that it was an amazing episode. I think it was very fun, and but we didn't move much forward when it comes to the overall plot in this one. But other than that, everything was pretty good. And the colors, the lighting, everything, the planets. So thank you, Lucas. Thank you. And I guess I shall see all of you next week. Bye.
Alright, so it's now up to me to review. So yeah, great review, Oppo. Now it's my turn. So what's this episode about? So the episode begins in a Marauder in space, and it's revealed that Omega's getting her own comlink, which originally belonged to Crosshairs, who's of course no longer with the Bad Batch. Omega plays with it, but you know, Echo says it's not a toy, so yeah. And it's revealed that they're going to a place called Ord Mantell, basically. That's where they're next going. And Hunter says they're going there because they need to find out why Fennec Shand, who they don't know the name of yet, is after Omega. And Echo says he knows an informant that can help them. So this informant is called Sid. And they meet her in this place, in a hangar. And so they meet her through the streets in Ord Mantell City. And they go into a small little bar. And it looks a bit like, you know, like an old casino, because it had a few, like, some sort of, like, arcade cabinets, and it had a few aliens in there as well. And there's also, there's an alien there who they interact, which is a Trandoshan, you know, same species as Bosk, and it denies being Sid, and it says that Sid is not here, and we're in the wrong place. But then after that, Omega goes up to her, and she's able to make her confess that she's Sid. So yeah, Sid gets compromised. So Hunter asks Echo if the Jedi had other informants, and Echo confirms they had several, and that Sid is the only one that he knew to find. And Sid tells the Bad Batch that she found Sid while pointing to a Trandoshan bartender. So Omega tells him that she found Sid by pointing to a Trandoshan who denied it. So Sid leads the clones to a secret storeroom, which is filled with, you know, various devices and all that, and she tells them that the Jedi have valued her insides, but now that they're all dead, well, as she thought, because of course there are some that are still alive, the demand for her services has dropped due to the new Empire. And so yeah, times have changed, haven't they? And Sid says that she has never had clone deserters come to her before, and Tech says that they separated due to a difference in their ideology, you know, being that they resisted Order 66. And so they settle down inside Sid's office, and Hunter shows Sid the bounty hunter a hologram of Fennec. Sid doesn't know her, but she knows it's a bounty hunter. And Echo asks if she can find out for them who hired her, and Sid says that it depends on what they can do for her. So she gives them a job to do in return for giving them information on Fennec, basically. And she tells them that she needs the clones to rescue a child called Moochie. So yeah, and Moochie was taken by Zygerian slavers, basically, and they're in the other side of Ord Mantell. So So she tells them to bring her the kid in return for the information on Phoenix. So they head to this place, which is like, some sort of, run-down, barren wasteland outside of the city. And they see that the Zygerians have captured several, like a little family, basically. And they guess that one of the children in the family is Moochie. They attempt to rescue them, but unfortunately it goes horribly wrong because they get ambushed by some sort of very big dragon creature. So before they can rescue what they think is Moochie, the Thalian green child, they get captured thanks to the dragon sort of thing that, takes them down. Yeah, it's called a Brezak. Yeah, I think it's called a Brezak, yeah. And they get captured in an electric net by the Zygerians. Now, meanwhile, Sid is contacted by an unknown figure on a hologram, and I was wondering, who is this guy? He sounds really familiar, like I've heard him before. And of course, we got the answer at the end of the episode, though. And apparently, this person wants this person's owner wants Moochie as soon as possible. And this figure even threatens Moochie in Huttese, yeah. So I had a feeling it was going to be someone who knows the Hutts, basically. Now, meanwhile, Omega's back on the ship because she was told to stay behind. But then, when the Zygerians search the ship, she hides from them and she realises that her friends may be in danger. So she sneaks off the ship from the outside and heads to the wasteland where Moochie is supposed to be. And she sees that the Bad Batch have been captured. And then after that, she's able to cause like a distraction while the Bad Batch are in prison, unable to move, and she discovers there's a big creature in like a cage sort of thing, and as a bit of distraction, she sets it free, and it's a Rancor. Yeah, we got to see a Rancor in this episode, which was pretty cool. And the Rancor then goes on a rampage, hence why the episode's called Rampage. I've got a feeling it was probably called Rampage, probably as a homage to that old 2D video game series in which you play as like, as like a big creature and you can smash up cities. I think it's a reference to that, maybe. So the Rancor goes on a rampage and takes down the Zygerians, and it's then revealed that Moochie is the Rancor. It's not the child as part of that family that's been imprisoned. So this makes the job even harder because it's a Rancor that's causing trouble. And I gotta say, I didn't recognise it was a Rancor until the Bad Batch, said, Moochie is the Rancor is Moochie. Like, I didn't notice it was a Rancor because it looked very different to Jabba's Rancor, and also the Rancors in The Force Unleashed as well that I saw. Like, I really didn't know. So yeah, and so the Zygerians they attempt to fight the Bad Batch, but they get taken down by the Rancor in Moochie's rampage. Yeah, Moochie the Rancor. And the leader, I think he's called Rani or Rainy, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He fights them and with his dragon, the Brezak thing, and what's cool is Rainy had like a little weapon which was like a whip, but it was lit up yellow. I have no idea if it's the same sort of blade as a lightsaber, but it didn't, cut off limbs like a saber would do when he was trying to imprison the Bad Batch, capture him with his hook, to lasso them. With a whip, yeah. But it was a pretty cool thing, and he has a brief fight with Hunter, but luckily Hunter defeats him by kicking him to the ground. I think it was a bit of a short fight. It could have been longer, but still it was great nonetheless. Now, meanwhile, after that, luckily, Moochie is able to defeat the Brezak, and Wrecker has to, calm down Moochie, and, after the Brezak's flown away, Wrecker has to calm the Moochie, and he has to fight it, basically, yeah, and eventually he's able to tame it. It took a lot of effort, though. Then they take Moochie back to Old Mantel City, to Sid, and it's revealed that the person who contacted Sid earlier was Bib Fortuna. Yeah, so Bib Fortuna came to Sid, yeah, which is pretty cool. And apparently it's Jabba the Hutt that wants Moochie, so yeah. I've got a good feeling that the Moochie in this episode might be, you know, the Rancor we see in Return of the Jedi, but younger. I'm not sure because the design of the head was much different to the one in Return of the Jedi, so maybe it's the Rancor's mother or something, I have no idea. So yeah, and so Fortuna is then assured that all is well when Moochie is brought in, yeah. So then, as promised, Sid then gives them information on Fennec, explain that she is new to the scene, of course, in bounty hunting, but she's already proven herself to be ruthless and cunning, yeah. And Hunter asks who hired her, and Sid says that her sources in the Bounty Hunters Guild says that she is working on a direct commission. And Sid warns Hunter that he will need friends and money, but Hunter admits they're not swimming in either friends or money. And then Hunter's then given his share of the cut, and that more credits are available if he's looking for work. So we may probably see Sid again, maybe, I don't know. And then after that, Sid says that they must be viable for a hunter of Shan's caliber to be pursuing them. And when Hunter frowns, Sid says she is good with secrets, prompting Hunter to scowl at her. And that's it, the episode was over. But all in all, this was a really great episode. I really enjoyed it. It was so amazing. Had a great voice cast as well, guys. For example, for those who don't know, Sid in this episode is voiced by Rhea Perlman, who you may know as the wife of Danny DeVito. And she's also known for playing Zinnia Wormwood in the Matilda film from 1996, also directed by DeVito and starring him and narrated by him. And because I didn't like Zinnia Wormwood at all, I thought she was a really mean character who only cared about going to a bingo and money. I think Sid might be my favourite role of Rhea Perlman's because I don't know any other role she's played, to be honest, besides this character and Zinnia Wormwood. So yeah, Sid's probably my favourite Rhea Perlman role. And also, they also got Matthew Wood back as the voice of Bib Fortuna. And to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Matthew Wood as Bib Fortuna. I prefer Eric Borsfeld from Return of the Jedi. But I'm going to guess that they cast him in this because he's younger, maybe. But then again, explain why they cast him in Mandalorian Series 2 when he's much older. And he should sound like Eric Borsfeld. So yeah. But all in all, this was really fun to watch. I enjoyed it. It was great. One of the best episodes so far, and I'm very excited about episode 6. So yeah. So guys, this was me reacting to episode 5 of a Bad Batch titled Rampage. So, you know, drill guys, be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to leave comments what you guys thought of today's episode. Also, be sure to join Team Prime Best and subscribe for more videos coming in the future. And don't forget to subscribe to Oppo, like I said at the start before his review. And may the Force be with you always.